Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today in this video we are going to discuss literature, its genres and subgenres in literature that are very basic for any literature student. So let's get started from the very beginning. Defining literature is a very broad term and it can be defined in any way. There is no a clear cut definition of literature, so a very common definition goes like this: any piece of writing that has aesthetic and artistic value. And you can define literature in some other words as well. Literature is reflection of life, some say it's mirror of life, some say literature is life. Yes, in a crux you can say that literature is life. All we study in literature is about life. Okay, and now we'll discuss genres and subgenres in literature. So what basically genre is? It's a French word, and its pronunciation goes like it's a just sound, genre. And it's a category. It includes some categories in literature. So text often fit into multiple genres, and you can think of many examples of a novel which combine science fiction, romance, adventure. So these basically are genres. So we'll see the main genres and subgenres in literature. The main genres include fiction, non-fiction, folktales, drama, poetry. Fiction. As far as fiction is concerned, you must have some idea. I know fiction is something that is unreal, that is imaginative, based on writer imagination, and it's a creative thing. And the basic purpose of fiction writing is to entertain, and it includes historical fiction, science fiction, realistic fiction, mystery, fantasy. We'll see later on. And non-fiction uses non-fiction basically the opposite of fiction. It is based on fact, real life incident, real people, setting, plot, real incidents. And this writing is true, factual, and it includes biographies, autobiographies. So biography basically about, you can write about the life of a person. And in autobiography, so auto means self, biography mean life, writing about life. So in autobiography you write about your own life, that is autobiography. And then some informationals, which include writing on a specific topic and provide facts and information, include journals, you can say magazine. And folktales use exaggerated characters, and they have passed down our generation by word of mouth. So basically here you can see that folk mean, it's composed of two words, folk and tell. Folk mean people and tell mean stories. So these are stories of people, and it include legends, fables, fairy tales, myths. We will see what all these are. And another major genre in literature is drama. Drama uses characters, dialogues, actions to tell a story through a conflict and emotions. Basically, drama, you can say it's an art of performance which can be performed on stage. And poetry is concerned, you can define poetry in many ways: spontaneous flow of emotions. You can say poetry uses sound, rhythms, word choices to convey ideas, emotions, or thoughts. And now we'll discuss subgenres of fiction. Fiction already been discussed: imaginative, creative, convey incidents that are not real, imaginative. And writers on creation, you can say. And fiction subgenres include fantasy, romance. We'll see each and every subgenre in detail. Fantasy is a story including elements that are impossible, okay, such as talking, animal talking, magical powers, supernatural beings, spirits, etc., wizards. All of these are fantasies. You might watch movies, fantasy movies. That is my favorite genre in movies, fantasy. Most of the time I watch these movies. And here you can see the dragons in the movies, animal talking, and in Gulliver Travels as well. And I will now see romance. Romance is a fictional story that takes place in a particular time period in past. Basically, romance include the theme of love, love match, and overcoming obstacle, and the lovers they become couple, and happy ending is there. And you just, if you read the drama, uh, 12th Night, that is a romantic play that is about love. And mystery include the suspenseful story about puzzling events that are not solved till the end of the story. Basically, yes, the word mystery means something that is hidden, that is concealed, that is difficult to solve, unknown, you can say. So such kind of stories are included in mystery. And historical fiction are the stories that takes place in a particular time period in the past. Often the setting is real, but the characters are made up from the character authors on imagination. And traditional literature will see the stories that pass down from particular group of people to another in history, which include folk tales, legends, fables. Basically, these are all the categories of stories, fairy tales, myths. And horror fiction, it include supernatural creatures, vampires, victims. Basically, horror, which mean fear, so it's related pertaining to fear and horror thrillers, you can say. And vampires, such creatures that are frightening, vampires and spirits, ghosts, such characters are included in horror fiction. And isolated, the setting is concerned, isolated dark places, and evils are there, so such killing, suspense, crime. And realistic fiction is a story using made up of characters that could happen in real life. So as the name indicates, realistic, it's realism, truthful portrayal of reality, a fictional story often set in present that has believable character, setting, and plot. And science fiction, it's a type of fantasy that uses science and technology, such as robots, space, time, aliens, time travels. And you can, some movies are based on science fiction, as you already watch Avengers, Iron Man. Here you can see the mixture of science and fiction together, and set in future, and good versus evil is there, such themes are discussed. And crime fiction, it takes place in particular time period in the past. Often the setting is real, but the characters are made from author's imagination. And the basic thing in crime fiction include crime solved by a detective, and there are some using some clues. And a crime fiction, you can say Sherlock Holmes, a good example. It's TV series, Netflix series, that is very interesting. If you are interested, please watch. That will gonna benefit you. So Sherlock Holmes is a crime fiction, and here you can, in this series, in the movie, you can say the Sherlock Holmes, he used some clues to identify the criminal, villains, mystery settings is there, suspense and tension as well. And now we'll see some fictional subgenres. Realistic fiction, yes, these all have been discussed: realistic fiction, science fiction, historical. And now we'll see non-fictional subgenres. So non-fictional subgenres included informational writing, biographies, autobiographies, persuasive writing. Information writing provides fact and information, and it include magazines, newspapers, you can say. Autobiographies is about one's own life, writing about your own self. Biographies mean you can write about the life of someone else. And persuasive writing means to influence someone, to persuade, and to agree with your own opinion. And folklore subgenres include fables, legends, myth, fairy tales. So fable is a story with a talking animals and morals and moral lessons. So morals are such a stories that have some didactic purpose. You can say didactic purpose mean to convey a moral lessons of a story clearly stated. Myth is a kind of story that has god, goddesses, and account for the creation of something. And tall tale is a funny story set in wild west, and main characters size or skills are exaggeration is there. Okay, and a story with unbelievable elements and related as if they were true and factual, and some are exaggeration of the actual events, which include fish stories, mermaids stories, you can say. So exaggeration is there. And fairy tales has fairy, as the name indicates, indicates its spirits, so it says magical talking animals, spirits are there. Children's story about magical and imaginary beings. And legends is a story of unknown origin describing plausible but extraordinary past events that has a significant role in a society. A story that might be true but exaggeration is also there, usually says retold or adopted by. And now we'll see fairy tales and fantasies, already been discussed. Both have monsters, magical supernatural beings, talking animals. So the difference is that fairy tales are part of oral tradition, which means that they are not written. Okay, they just pass from one person to other person as a story, as told, orally told. And usually it will say retold, adopted by. Fairy tales often start with once upon a time. And now some tips to identify any genre. So basically what you have to do, find the main genre first, and second point is look for the details that fulfill that category or genre. So keeping all this information, you can just find any genre of literature. Hope you understand. I'll provide you the notes link in the description. Thank you.